Welcome back to the Mr. Train YouTube channel. In this video, we will be documenting operations on the Chicago, Fort Wayne, and Eastern Railroad. You will see us chasing a road train and watching some switching operations in the yard. This footage was taken the weekend of the Van Wert, Ohio Model Train Show, and we were able to capture this amazing footage while visiting the Ohio and Indiana area. First, we take a look at CF&E Pickway Yard in Fort Wayne, Indiana. This drone photo is of the locomotive shops by Wayne Trace Road. Note the CF&E Whisker Stripes Heritage Unit in the line of Dash 8s, as well as the patched CSX-8 and patched Canadian Pacific SD40-2 with the reporting mark IORY. We then observe a trio of jeeps shoving a cut of cars into the yard. The next day, we traveled east to Van Wert, Ohio, where we caught a glimpse of the daily manifest from Fort Wayne to Lima. We began a chase with the train, catching it at our first location in the quiet town of Middle Point, Ohio. The power for this train was CF&E 4034 and 4035, both GE C40-8W locomotives. To our surprise, the Genesee and Wyoming Heritage Unit was leading the train. This unit represents the original paint scheme used on the railroad up until the 1970s. After passing through the town of Delphos, we managed to pace alongside the train. Here, we can get a better look of the vintage paint scheme. This would be our final town we visit. However, the chase is not over. We will watch this train creep by into Cole Street Yard in Lima, Ohio. Next, we watch the train as it will disconnect its power and shuffle around the yard. We head up to the east end of the yard. First, the train will pull up through the yard and disconnect the second half of the train on the main line, then shove the first half into yard track 5. Cole Street Yard is tucked between a major road and a neighborhood, leaving limited space for these massive trains to break down. After the freight train shoved back, this trio of jeeps pulled out to take over switching operations. Note the RS-5T horn on the leading locomotive, a rare thing to hear nowadays, but arguably one of the best train horns. The two locomotives up front are CF&E GP38-2s, but the third unit is Rapid City Pier and Eastern Railroad GP38-3. It's common for Genesee and Wyoming to borrow locomotives from other railroads, and it's cool to see a locomotive typically working in South Dakota to travel to Ohio. Cars kept driving around the gate as the train shoved back. A worker in a SUV pulled up to block the crossing so that the train could shove back safely. And a message for the drivers: don't play chicken with the train. The -8s would make one more appearance to switch onto the now empty track to run to the other end of the yard, presumably to prepare for tomorrow's outbound train. As the evening settles in, we wrap up our video on the Chicago, Fort Wayne, and Eastern Railroad. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you want to see more content like this, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. And remember, document trains today because they might not be here tomorrow.